Nate with Sauce Ain't the Boss here again, and today is day number 231 of quitting alcohol. Got my coffee with collagen in it here. Collagen is good for your skin, nails, hair, and plus I get like 11 grams of protein for 60 calories. Put it in coffee. It's actually pretty good. I notice my hair is kind of thinning, just part of getting old, and baldness kind of runs in my family. Both my grandparents were bald, and I hear it skips a generation, so I guess I'm screwed, right? But anyway, just doing what I can naturally. I'm not into taking like Rogaine or anything like that, and you know, I'm looking at like, I'm taking some magnesium and zinc and of course collagen and stuff like that. And if I keep my hair, great. If not, then I'll shave it off and you know, see what I look like bald, I guess. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not a real vain, insecure person anymore. So, not that I ever had reasons to be vain in the early days anyway. But today I wanted to talk about, I was shopping at Costco today and walked past the wine department. And I used to buy a lot of wine at Costco. It was a pretty good value there compared to other places, you know, for rotten grape juice in a bottle, right? But anyway, I just had being there, and I used to have what I thought was fun or exciting to be able to look at the different wines and different regions they came from, and all the BS wine snob finger pinky in the air dumb bullshit that it is. You know, but I felt the pull of that old life as I was just walking through there for a minute, and just got that quick flash of, you know, wanting to throw some wine in the cart and drink. And I started thinking about how life is really all about choices and trade-offs, right? And I thought about the trade-off, you know, what if I just threw some wine in this cart right now, said screw this whole journey, and started drinking again. Not that I had the strong desire to do that, but I was just playing the devil's advocate as to what would happen, what would go on, you know, and really got me to thinking about the trade-off of that. I would be going back to that instant gratification, that numbness, that you know, I for lack of a better term, alcohol gives you that warm blanket feeling. It's your old pacifier, your old binky, your old comfort crutch, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes it is easy and gratifying for that temporary fix to go down that road, and it tastes better than collagen and coffee. You know, just kidding. It tastes like shit. But, you know, to go down that road and be in that life again, you know, I remembered when I was thinking about that at Costco there, why I live that way and why people do, why people get stuck in that trap, you know. But again, it's back to what I wanted to talk about, which is the trade-off of that. I would be giving up all the positive things that have happened in my life since I quit drinking. Like I mentioned, the biggest of which was I was on freaking death's door when I was drinking. Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be around from one day to the next, honestly. The type of breathing problems I was having, high blood pressure, heart beating out of my chest, waking up with the sweats. Some nights I'd have to sleep sitting up so I would keep breathing. My wife would wake me up in the middle of the night. I mean, I was just, like I mentioned in one video, I was just a gross mess of just, you know, waiting to die is what it felt like. And so, you know, if that's not a huge motivating factor, and a trade-off that I'm not willing to risk right now, obviously, there's that, right? And then all the other things, the financial side, the money you're saving by not drinking, the money you're making now better than you used to because you're more productive, you started a side hustle, your business is more successful, you're getting a promotion at work. I mean, all these good things start to happen when you quit drinking from a financial standpoint. And your confidence that you gain, that I've talked about, and you know, to go back to my insecurities, and for a quick fix, for a quick buzz, you know, and that was just running through my mind a lot today about you know, how I used to live and what I'd be giving up now if I went back to alcohol. And I think it's important that when we do have those pulls, when we're on this journey to go back to drinking, to ask ourselves, is it worth it? Is it worth going back to drinking for that temporary satisfaction, only to wake up the next day regretful and possibly being roped back into drinking every day again? I mean, like I mentioned in some videos, I think a lot of us can, you know, have that one drink and then be stuck into it for years, possibly, maybe never being able to get out of it because you just instantly, once you've had your drug and it's been your go-to, the minute you have that drug again, it's like an instant wiring that just takes back over, and you would just want to hit it like a kid in a candy store and get hardcore, you know. And, you know, that's something I was thinking about too. You know, we have parents growing up because when we're kids, you know, we'd eat all the candy we wanted till we were sick and throwing up, or kids would play video games until, you know, from the time they woke up to the time they went to bed. They do all these instant gratification type actions, from food to what they did during their day. They wouldn't want to get up and be productive. Not saying everybody, but generally speaking, I remember being a kid just wanting to take all the feel-good stuff out of life. You know, you don't really think about long-term consequences when you're 6, 7 years old, eating candy and playing video games and doing the stuff that you want to do right then and there for instant gratification. You're not thinking about the future or anything. And that's why we have parents and need parents when we're young like that, you know. I was thinking about how drinking the way that I was like being a kid again, in the sense that I had no discipline over it. You know, nobody to tell me enough's enough, and I was just going gung-ho, acting like, you know, a child with no discipline and structure in his life. And, you know, just something that kind of crossed my mind too and everything. But yeah, guys, it's definitely one of those things that the further you get away from alcohol, the more you have to give up and risk and lose by going back to it. And so when, like I say, when I was in Costco today and went by the wine, I just, you know, I wasn't even close, like I say, to coming back to drinking. This, don't get me wrong, wasn't anything like that at all. It was just that, you know, we're going to get cravings and little triggers here and there as we go through our days in this journey and stuff like that. And I'm here to be honest and talk about those things with you guys. But, you know, it's the instant, whoa, like the trade-off I'd be losing and going back, and the potential of being stuck in that alcohol trap and never being able to get out. And then, you know, we have the other side of us that says things to us like, well, you know, you've been off alcohol long enough to where, you know, you could probably reintroduce it into your life, right? And just be a occasional drinker, only drink on the weekends or just at special events, or if you're on vacation and that kind of thing. And the reality of those thoughts too are that how many times have you proven to yourself that you can't have the odd drink, right? That you go back to it hardcore every time. I mean, there was never a time where I quit drinking and went back to it, or I tried moderating, that ever worked, right? It's either all or nothing, you know, get rid of it, or you're you know, if I go back to it, it's going to be full bore. I'm sure it would be, you know. And so you have to remind yourself of that there is no moderating that makes any sense with a drug. It's like saying I'm going to moderate heroin or methamphetamine or crack cocaine. I mean, are you really going to go into taking a drug, somehow convincing yourself that you're going to be able to be in control over that drug and moderate it? Just doesn't make any sense, right? So, yeah, so think about that, guys. When you're on this journey, and it doesn't matter if you are a week in or a year in, I think you have to ask yourself, what do you stand to gain by going back to drinking versus what do you stand to lose? And even at something as like a week, you know, look how far you've come. You've already got over a lot of those physical cravings. You've already gotten past the first day that's the hardest, the second day, you know. And so what do you have to lose? You have to start all over again if you go back to it. And you have to go back into that misery for a while till you snap out of it again, and maybe something bad happens and while you go back to drinking that you could have avoided if you stayed on that path, even though you're a week in, you know. I mean, there is never a good reason to go back to drinking. There's just not. There's no good reason to take a poison, to take a drug, to numb life, to escape, other than instant gratification, other than you're not man or woman enough to deal with the present moment, and you know, you've got to turn to some kind of substance to get through life. And again, there's no judgment, I get it, but that's the reality of it. There's no way that I can pull punches with that. It just is what it is. If I went back to drinking, it would be because I'm weak, and I would rather have instant gratification than long-term happiness. So that's it for today, guys. Just the trade-offs there. If you guys are enjoying these videos, please give them a like, subscribe to the channel if you can, and most importantly, remember, sauce ain't the boss. You are. You guys have a great day.